Coming up next on Columbus Connections. Now, we know that Columbus has long been a football city, but man, we have a lot of basketball. We're going to tell you more about it. Stay tuned. Welcome to Columbus Connections. I am your host, David Britt, and we're here to talk about the third annual SaMarc Foundation Basketball Awards. Yes, we know that Columbus has had a lot of great professional athletes come from Columbus in football, but man, if you've been following recent basketball, I'm talking about young men and young women. I'm talking about high school and middle school. Basketball is really heating up, and it's really time to give these young athletes the rewards that they deserve. And who else better to do it than Mr. Professional Sports for this Tri-City himself, Mr. D.J. Jones. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, man. How are you?
Good to have you back. I'm good. Now, you're here yourself, and you're an icon in sports yourself, but you're here to represent a whole team of people who are putting on this third annual award show. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. It's the SaMarc Foundation, which is just a tremendous organization with a couple of local homeboys, Mark Upshaw and Sam Mitchell. They formed up the SaMarc Foundation some 18 years ago, and of course I had the pleasure of starting their first basketball camp, the Sam Mitchell Dream and Achieve Youth Basketball Camp. But ironically, we were competitors in high school. We grew up and became great friends, and now we're colleagues and partners in these efforts in the community.
Right, and now Sam Mitchell, as many know, was an award-winning basketball coach in the NBA from right here in Columbus.
Absolutely. He's, of course, Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer, Mother Mary Mission Sports Hall of Famer. He wouldn't let me get by without saying a Mercer University Sports Hall of Famer. He and of course, his best friend, Mark Upshaw, right. They're a very, very proud businessman who's done quite well for himself after an illustrious career here in the Bi-City area and in college playing basketball. But those two guys decided many years ago that they wanted to work together to give back to this community, and they have done so. But adding this award ceremony, this is the third annual SaMarc Foundation basketball camp. Excuse me, not camp. I got the camp on my mind, but SaMarc Basketball Awards Luncheon presented by SportsVisions. So again, I was tasked to put this awards luncheon together for those guys on behalf of those guys, and I'm doing that. And again, these guys are doing what they want, and of course they're doing it for, the people that obviously helped them, and of course they're recognizing what they did.
Yeah. Now we've talked before we started airing about how basketball is coming along. Like basketball has always been here. There's always been some great basketball athletes for a while, but recently, the middle school championships,
yes.
The high school, Spencer winning the championship not too long ago. It's time.
It's time.
It's really time. And for young women too.
Absolutely. And again, this is another reason for these guys to recognize these boys and girls at high school and middle school levels. And it's just a tremendous opportunity. You can tell by as many teams as had their way to the Alabama High School State Championship playoffs, as well as the Georgia High School State playoffs. So it's just going to be a room full of champions, a room full of outstanding young boys and girls, of course, celebrating and honoring them for their basketball efforts.
Right, and it gives the kids something to look forward to. One, it shows those hardworking kids that hard work really pays off. And you get rewarded, you get recognized among your peers, you really get to stand out. And for the kids, even if they don't make that awards banquet, it gives them something to shoot for the next year.
And what I love about it is that, with all that's going on in the community, and particularly with our young people, these are the good stories. This is what I'm so excited about, and of course, being able to partner with these guys, a couple of guys that we grew up in this community, and we know what it's like to be recognized. And of course, the good kids that not only in athletics, but in academics as well. But having an opportunity to keep that going, man. Hats off to Mark Upshaw and Sam Mitchell for stepping up in a big way for our local high school and middle school basketball community.
Yeah, now how can people look into it if they want to do any sponsorships, if they want to do any kind of support for the organization? How can they find out about it?
Well, you can find out more about the SaMarc Foundation they have a website, the SaMarcFoundation.org, SaMarcFoundation.org. and that'll give you all of the ins and outs of that particular organization, as well as the camps that they have, the trips that they take the kids on during the summer. We had a cruise that we went on in October, going to Washington, D.C., taking a bunch of kids up to Washington, D.C. This year. But yeah, that's how you get in touch with those guys. But as far as any of our luncheons and that things of that nature, you can contact me at 706-681-1136.
Yeah, and now you mentioned, again, this isn't just the awards, but it represents an entire foundation, and it does a great work with athletes and with young people, keeping them off the streets, keeping them occupied, keeping them with things to do, showing them things outside of Columbus that they may not have otherwise seen. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, again, the theme of the organization, the SaMarc himself, is dream and achieve. These kids, Mark and Sam are responsible for taking these kids to places they've never been to, the things that they've only dreamed of, and again, just to get the exposure, by going on trips, on exotic trips to the islands, or going to the White House in Washington, D.C. With them, the basketball camp, the free camp that they do every summer, which is working on number 18, I believe it is, 18th annual, bringing in professional athletes. Shaquille O'Neal has been in town on behalf of the SaMarc organization. Of course, if you're watching basketball right now, an outstanding player with the Boston Celtics in the NBA, Grant Williams, grew up in the SaMarc Foundation youth basketball program and, of course, the basketball camp. And he's now one of the stars with the Boston Celtics. And I tell you, man, it's a beautiful thing. But in addition to that, there's a number of wonderful young citizens that still reside in this community that have partaken in these activities that these guys are responsible for. And again, that's what makes them proud. Yeah,
and like you said, it builds great leadership in the community. A lot of they've gone on to be coaches, business leaders, great fathers, great professionals in our community. So it's paying tenfold from going through the camp, whether they go through the professional level or whether they just become leaders in their own right.
Absolutely. And again, speaking on behalf of both Mark and Sam, they are really, really proud of their hometown. They talk about it in their travels again. And it's nothing like, having a place that you love and you like to come home, and now you're serving and you have a reason. And you've also now established a platform in order to do so.
Yeah. So tell us again, when and what time will it be?
That'll be Thursday. The actual awards luncheon, the high school boys basketball and girls luncheon will be on, that'll be March 16th, Thursday, March 16th, 11:30 at the St. Luke Ministry Center. And we'll be honoring the top local high school bi-city boys and girls basketball players. And of course, we'll have, the middle school player of the year and the coaches of the year.
Awesome. And again, tell us how they can follow the SaMarc Foundation to find out any more information about anything they have going on.
Be sure to go to the website, SaMarc.org, SaMarcFoundation.org, SaMarcFoundation.org, or you can call me, DJ Jones, at 706-681-1136.
Now, you've been a professional football player and was on a championship Georgia team in football. To those students who are athletes that really want to take their career to that next level, what do they need to do?
Well, first and foremost, you have to bloom where you're planted. You have to, of course, take advantage of the opportunities that you have right here with your team, with your school, with this community. You have to, first and foremost, get your grades and take care of your responsibilities. But, don't worry about what you can't control. And the only thing that you can control right now is being able to be the best that you can be where you are right now.
Congratulations to all of the athletes that will be rewarded there. Can't wait to see where you're going to go. And thanks for watching Columbus Connections.